Pyromancer. So for the weapons, you could use a Torment Agony with Fortress or Mage's Rage in the bottom, and then you put the other one on. And this is very usable. I use that on a POC 25 to kill an POC 40 Final Arbiter. So that's pretty cool. And you could also use something like this, an Heir to the Desert, or any gun with Armor Pierce that comes with Fortress or Mage's Rage. But the Heir to the Desert is good because it has Armor Pierce, Status Power, Skill Life Leech, and then it comes with Sandstorm. So it's a good one. And then your pistols, you want Armor Pierce. The other two don't matter. I like having Healing Received because the higher you go in Apocalypse, the less healing you get. Then Fortress gives 20% damage when you stack it up. First things first gives you 50% anomaly, 50% armor piercing, sorry. And Mage's Rage gives you a bunch of anomaly power. So you can see I'm at 2.6. And with the armor pierce from First Things First and these two mods on these gloves here, the armor pierce into resistance, resistance pierce into anomaly power, I go from 2.6, I shoot, I reload, and now I have 2.9. So that's a nice little anomaly power boost there. So for the gear, you want the Lava Lich head, chest, pants. Then I recommend either purple God Roll gloves with like anomaly power, cooldown, and then whatever you want for the third. And then you got to get like purple boots, or you could do what I did and get by with reforged boots. Akari boots might work, but I haven't actually thought about it. But they do come with Master Consumer. If you can get a good Apoc mod, then you can use Akari boots. Actually going into the mods, we got Bullet Kindling for more damage on everyone, because everyone is always burning, basically. Magma Coat for more lava damage, which is very good because that helps out the damage over time on Eruption. Death Sentence, an absolute requirement for this build, gives you 30% more anomaly damage against enemies affected by the skill. Then the Lava Lich chest with increased range on Ash Blast. We'll go over why that's cracked later. Giga Blast for more range on the Eruption, which it already has decent range, but then Giga Blast makes it have great range. Self-medication, so I never die, because I want to be unkillable. Then the pants, improve damage, so then the actual initial hit will pretty much one-shot every single elite all the time. And if they don't die, then they'll just die to the damage over time very shortly. Pompai for another activation of Eruption, so then you can have up to 3. Sunburnt, it's not an optimal mod. You want to have the second overheat mod. And then Hands of the Reforged, you got no resistance against the fortified, converts armor pierce into resistance pierce. Unstoppable Force takes that resistance pierce and gives you anomaly power. This is why, this I feel like is kind of why you don't need to do Akari anymore, especially paired up with pistols like these. Like, you got armor pierce to go to anomaly, you got fortress, you got mage's rage, so you don't need to do Akari, and this enables eruption to work because you have all this anomaly power. Arms and anomaly just for an extra boost, and then power assimilation you want to replace with Phoenix Force, so then you can get like 700,000 anomaly power like all the time, rather than situational anomaly power from a power assimilation. But this is a usable mod for me at the moment. Then Etna gives us our third eruption, and Master Consumer makes our overheat do a bunch of damage. So for the skills, we're using Ash Blast, Overheat, Eruption, and in that order you want to do your skills. You want to Ash Blast, and then go to your pistols with Fortress and Mage's Rage, or whatever gun you have. But if you have the pistols with First Things First, then you Ash Blast, Overheat, shoot, get your Fortress, reload, Overheat, and then you spam your Eruption. Going into the class, just Anomaly power, a little bit of resistance pierce, and some damage and cooldown. Damage against elites, explosive damage, then some more damage when they're under 30% health, some health. Burn turns into ash when it ends, and then some armor pierce, resistance pierce, and then 45% anomaly power here. Weapon damage doesn't matter, and that's the normal tree. Then the Pax tree, uh, more resistance piercing, which gives us more anomaly power, and this can go up to 30%. You get 15 above 80% health. You get 30% when you're below 40% health. So if you get weak and you hit an eruption, it'll do more damage than your other eruptions. Then you could pair that with this trigger sequence. Every time you hit an explosive skill, it'll stack the damage up by 25%. And then on your fourth activation, it'll start again and be 25%. So 75% increased damage on your explosive skills, so you can cycle them properly, especially paired with this, where when your skills are on cooldown, you have more anomaly power, so then you do more damage. Convection helps us cycle our cooldowns, and Master Exploder, 100% of my resistance pierce is put towards damage on my eruption and overheat, and I still have first things first active, so I have all that armor pierce, and then that makes me have 155% resistance pierce, which allows for 155% increased eruption damage and overheat damage from this node. One thing to know when you're going through the apocalypse trying to do this build is that, as you can see, my one piece gives 22.5% cooldown. The cap is 55.4%, I think. So you want to hit that cap and then don't go over it, but you know, I went a little over, which is fine. But you want to hit that cap, and with low level gear, it's hard to do because they don't give so much. So what you can do is over here in the Pax tree, you can take a point out of here and put it here. So then you have the cooldown, but you also still have backdraft. And you don't need Arsonist. It's not good, and it's going to throw off your rotations, and you're not going to be able to like really get your cycle down if you're using this skill. So you don't want that anyway. And this 60% anomaly power boost when you do your eruptions, because you ash blast, overheat, and then erupt, is very good. For your ascension, you just want your resistance pierce, armor pierce, anomaly damage, then anomaly power, and then you can do whatever else you want here. I like having a bit of tankiness. I got my damage, I got anomaly power, damage, armor pierce, so I'm all good on my ascension. Just ranking up this so I really never die. And then I will load into Eye of the Storm and do one of those. One thing to know is that if you have like one gun with Fortress Mage's Rage, then I like to have something like this. I haven't actually tried it out yet, but for Eye of the Storm I wanted to try it. I could have put Mage's Rage instead of Shadow Comet, but I put Shadow Comet on there just to bring back old memories on Pyro, having Claymore Torrent, Shadow Comet. But ideally, instead of doing like a Damascus like me, you want to have something like maybe a Charred Lance, because it has armor pierce on it. And I just think this is kind of funny, so I have it. But I'm going to be trying out the Damascus Offering this run. But the main gun I use is the pistols, and you don't need first things first. I didn't use it for the longest time. Now, you might want first things first if you're looking to do carries, but that's really about it.
It's the leader of the pharaohs.
So like when they're out of my range like this, it's cool to have a anomaly gun. I mean, it does decent damage, but nothing compared to that. I actually did my rotation wrong there, as you might have seen. Yeah, I did not do it right. So you want to Ash Blast, shoot, reload, overheat. That's the proper way to do it. Then this Broodmother's going to jump at me, which is going to be annoying. Ash Blast, reload, overheat, interrupt that Broodmother. Ash Blast, shoot, reload, overheat. And as you can see, you can just keep stuff out of the obelisk decently well having an anomaly gun, because it interrupts them, makes them stay out, cycle back to your Ash Blast, have them get in the range of it, and then you can just do your obelisk in peace. Sometimes they jump at you and get in, which is annoying. So when stuff is on cooldown, you just use your eruption. Doesn't matter what you use it on. Just if you're on cooldown, might as well kill them. Spawn fast. Not gonna lie, I don't know where the Strix crit spot is. I just kind of spray and hope I crit. But you don't need Mage's Rage. Not on most enemies. You do kind of want it on like the Final Arbiter, because the Final Arbiter has the most health in the whole game. And one quick thing about the Ash Blast is that you do like really want it to hit the enemy. So like when you're Ash Blast and then shooting, you also allow time for it to travel, because it's a little pulse. So it takes time to spread out through that whole 50% increased radius. So like see, it takes a second for them to get hit by it. When you're swapping from pistols and weapons, it takes whatever gun you had out last that you swap back to when you're done with your pistols. I didn't use overheat in my combo there, but that was just because overheat will interrupt the enemy. And with this obelisk, the only thing you want to care about is just not letting them in, because you don't actually really have to kill them. Not really, you just are waiting. The other ones you are waiting too, but they jump in it way more. Yeah, look at that freaking behemoth. Half health off of just Ash Blast overheat. He died to overheat. Not even eruption. Eruption would one-shot him. Yeah, see, I should probably have something instead of Shadow Comet, because Shadow Comet's kind of bad. Should probably have Mage's Rage for more damage, or maybe Death Renome. Death Renome gives you anomaly power when you have less than 2 skills on cooldown. Yeah, look at that damage from Eruption over there. Just the lingering effect of it did almost all of that before his health. Okay, on to Yagak. Should only take 3 eruptions for pretty much everything other than some expedition bosses and the arbiters, or well, the trials bosses, I should say. So, gonna go in with the same combo as everything. You just shoot him up, reload, overheat, and then you hit him with the freaking eruption, and he's dead in a nice, clean 3 eruptions. I don't know if you can do that without first things first, but I would assume so. Maybe you'd have to take another skill rotation, and you should be able to live until you get your skills back.
What the hell was that?
I did a slow run, those 7 minutes.
I don't know.
Pretty slow.
I could sense the soul.
They need to buff Eye of the Storm because you can't get Apocalypse items from it. Not from the selector. All selectors in the game you can't get Apocalypse items from, other than the Trials selector. That is the only one you can get Apocalypse stuff from. As you can see, when you finish an expedition, you can just leave and it picks it all up for you. So keep that in mind when you're playing with groups. 3.9 billion damage, 1.8 billion from overheat, 1.7 from eruption. Eye of the Storm is kind of balanced, like on trash mobs and normal mobs, and a lot of that damage is probably from Yagak. It's pretty good. Overheat, a lot of trash mobs, does a lot of damage. I do want to say in my gameplay of Frontline, I do have a modded gun equipped. Shoot, where is it? My eyes are failing me right now. Oh, so this gun I do have equipped in that gameplay, but I did not use it at all. It didn't boost my stats because I wasn't holding it out. You don't need a modded gun like this. I just have it and don't really use it. Oh, you know what? Another thing about this, like when I was using it, is, you know, it doesn't have armor pierce. So if you want a gun with armor pierce, because if you had a gun with armor pierce, you'd have more anomaly power, they'd do more damage. So instead of like Claymore Torrent on this Charred Lance, I could switch it over to Fortress, and then this might be like a decent damage gun for those Strix that are outside the obelisks. Anyway, hope you enjoyed my pyro guide. Real quick, I do want to just show these times off. I did the expeditions, all of them, pretty quick. Could have done quicker on a bit of them, but I do like how I had an under 3-minute Boomtown, because that is a goal or achievement for me. I haven't gotten below 3 minutes before this, but now I have. And then also 4:15 Frontline is ridiculously fast. Alright, now thank you for watching my pyro guide. So I've got these super cracked pistols because they have 3 mods and then they have armor pierce, so it's basically a god roll. You just shoot, you see Fortress, you reload, you overheat. And you can tell you have Fortress because of that green little aura there. So you Ash Blast, shoot, reload, overheat. And as you can see, that elite over there died. We're waiting for him to spawn. Ash Blast, shoot, reload, overheat. Same thing again. Shoot, reload, ash blast, overheat. Everything's done. Very nice. Then while you're on cooldown, you can just go ahead and hit these. See right there, I didn't do my stuff, so I didn't kill them with ash blast and overheat. But if I did do my cycle properly, I wouldn't have not killed them. So you ash blast, hit something, reload, overheat. Now I didn't hit this guy with my ash blast, so he didn't die. Boom. Whole map done. There was like what, 6 elites, something like that, and they all died within an overheat. So you get in the middle, ash blast, shoot, reload, overheat. And you just rinse and repeat that until you're done. And then whatever lives, you can just erupt. I really love how overheat just moves the whole map. Except for that one guy that's too far away.
Artillery support incoming!
This is one of those times where I really like having the mod that gives me increased health, that actually heals me, because I ash blast, shoot this guy, reload, overheat, and I heal back up. And then you see all these elites just fall over. So I overheated, I get my fortress. I actually took too long, so they weren't ash anymore. Boom, done. Whole map. This is actually kind of a slow front line. I'll show you my fastest time after it's over. This part's really fun. You go the right side here, hit your ash blast, shoot that guy, reload, dead. Everything is gone. And then here, you will be able to see how insane Eruption is. Because Moloch is the only boss in this map that takes more than one Eruption. But every standard elite dies. You'll also get to see the range of Eruption here. So you run up, you get close enough, you ash blast, you crit, you get your stuff, boom, 1, 2, I didn't even need the third one, and he would have died. Reload, dead, and then you see this group over here. One eruption killed all of those guys in that group, and they were sort of spread out. And then we have a nice 4-minute, 18-second
Am I
clear.
gonna have to dig you out of the rubble again?
Not this time. He's
Outrider detected. Access granted.
Great! Then, out of curiosity, can you explain to me why that pod didn't land with the rest of them?
Maybe it got stuck in the tube.
For pods, in group play, when you're doing expeditions, you don't have to wait for the loot to all drop and then pick it up. You can just initiate it, wait like 5 seconds, and then you can just leave. So 4.8 billion damage, 2.6 billion from overheat, 1.8 from eruption. Overheat was able to kill all the elites, so eruption didn't do that much, and there was a lot of trash mobs that, you know, just got overheated. And that 1.8 billion was from those few enemies that I erupted. Most of that probably came from Moloch. So Eruption, very good. Overheat, cracked out of its mind sometimes. Same with overheat. Or I meant to say eruption.
Shit. What if this is where all the big guys were on the move? Yeah, whatever. It's time to die. Even if you have to wait here 1,000 years.